Have you ever had your stylist ask if you cut your own hair? I walked into my usual salon last month and my stylist, Antonio, literally gasped. Not a polite professional intake of breath, but a full theatrical gasp like he'd witnessed a murder. "Sophia," he said, circling me like a crime scene investigator. "What happened? Who did this to you?" Here's the thing. I had attempted to trim my own bangs the night before. Just a tiny trim. 1/4 inch maximum. But I sneezed mid-cut and took out a chunk. Then I tried to even it out. Then the other side looked wrong. 3 hours and half a bottle of wine later, I'd given myself what can only be described as accidental baby bangs with random long pieces, like a toddler's craft project. I might have tried a small trim, I admitted. Antonio clutched his chest. Small? Small? You've committed a hate crime against your own head. The entire salon stopped. Other stylists abandoned their clients to come look. Someone took a photo for what Antonio called the wall of warnings, a collection of DIY disasters they showed to clients who threatened to cut their own hair. "This is advanced damage," announced Patricia, the senior stylist. "We need an intervention team." They weren't joking. 4 stylists huddled around me, discussing strategies like surgeons planning to separate conjoined twins. Terms were thrown around: reconstruction, emergency extensions, possible wig consultation. Antonio started documenting everything. "This is educational content," he explained, setting up his phone. "People need to see the consequences." So I became an unwilling Instagram story titled, "Why You Don't Cut Your Own Hair, a Tragedy in 3 Acts." Act 1 was the reveal, featuring my uneven disaster from multiple angles. Comments flooded in immediately. Did she use garden shears? Was this revenge? Is she okay? Act 2 was the consultation. Antonio interviewed me like a detective. "What scissors did you use?" "Kitchen ones." Collective groan from the salon. "What technique?" "YouTube University." More groaning. "What was your mental state?" "Wine confident." Everyone nodded knowingly. They brought out a mannequin head to demonstrate what I'd done wrong, which was apparently everything. "See how you pulled the hair down while cutting? That creates this shelf effect." He showed on the mannequin. It looked exactly like my disaster. "And these random long pieces? I thought they added dimension," I said weakly. "They add confusion," Patricia corrected. "Your hair looks like it's having an argument with itself." Act 3 was the rescue mission. Antonio worked for 2 hours, occasionally pausing to shake his head and mutter in Italian. Other stylists would stop by to observe and offer condolences. "We can rebuild her," Antonio would say. "We have the technology." The solution involved cutting everything shorter than I'd ever worn it, adding strategic layers and what Antonio called architectural bangs to disguise the massacre I'd created. Throughout the process, clients kept approaching to share their own DIY disasters. One woman showed photos of when she tried to bleach her own hair and turned it orange. Another admitted to cutting her ponytail straight across, thinking it would create layers. It didn't. When Antonio finally finished, I looked like a completely different person. A chic, intentional person, not someone who'd attacked their own hair with kitchen scissors. The salon applauded. Someone popped champagne they kept for successful reconstructions. But here's where it gets ridiculous. The Instagram story went viral. 13 million views. Antonio gained 50,000 followers overnight. Salons around the country started sharing their own DIY disaster content. Someone created a TikTok remix of Antonio gasping. I became a meme. The kitchen scissor massacre. Brands started sending me professional hair scissors with notes like, "Please use these instead." A wine company sent a case with labels that said, "For confidence, not haircuts." Antonio now uses my before photos in his consultation materials. There's a poster in the salon bathroom that's just my face with "Don't" written across it. New clients point and ask what happened. She tried to save $15, Antonio tells them solemnly. It cost her 400 in corrections and her dignity. The weird part? My hair has never looked better. The disaster forced such a dramatic change that I actually love the result. Though Antonio made me sign a contract promising to never touch scissors again. It's literally a legal document. His lawyer cousin drew it up. Last week, I went for my maintenance appointment. Antonio greeted me by confiscating my purse and checking for scissors. "Just making sure," he said. "PTSD from your incident." Another stylist suggested they start offering emergency video consultations for people about to cut their own hair. Like a crisis hotline, but for hair, she explained. "They're actually doing it. The service is called Step Away from the Scissors, and my disaster is featured in their promotional materials." My mother saw the video on Facebook. She called crying, asking if I was having a breakdown. "It's just hair, Mom." "But you did it to yourself, with kitchen scissors. Were you being held hostage? The strangest outcome?" I'm now Antonio's most requested before and after model. People literally request the girl who destroyed her own hair to do their cuts. They trust that if Antonio could fix my disaster, he can handle anything. I've accepted my fate as a cautionary tale. Though secretly, sometimes I look at my kitchen scissors and feel a weird temptation. Then I remember the contract, and Antonio's gas, and the way Patricia compared my hair to a crime scene. Yeah, I'm never cutting my own hair again.